Good morning, neighbors. Not really. It's like 5 o'clock in the afternoon. I'm sitting here drinking a cup of coffee. Anyway, so this video is really going to be food for thought for, I guess, anybody considering a career change, driving a truck, being over the road, being away from your friends and family. So here we go. So once upon a time, all good stories start like that. At least that's what I've been told. Anyway, my dad, rest his soul, told me before I ever started driving truck, or when I told him I was gonna get my CDL, the thing that he said to me was, he said, I want you to understand something. He said, driving a truck is the hardest career choice on any relationship that you'll ever have. Now, my dad drove most of his life. He provided for the family. There was myself and two sisters and my mom and dad, and then I had two stepbrothers and a stepsister. We didn't all live together at the same time at any particular time, although my one stepbrother did live with us, so it would have been two boys, two girls, and my mom and dad. My dad busted his ass every day of his life. Always took less to give the family more. And, it wasn't till later on, after he was gone, that I really realized what he had done and why. And I really appreciated him that much more for that. And, I wish he were here now so I could ask him so many more questions, and get his opinion on so many more things. However, let's go back to the moral of the story here. So if you're contemplating getting your CDL and driving, here's something you got to think about. If you have kids, first and foremost, that would be my most important consideration for this. Okay? You can't carry them with you, I suppose. I mean, unless you're gonna somehow manage to figure out a way that you can homeschool them while you're on the road. Now, if this is a husband and wife situation with one child, yeah, I can completely see that being possible. If it's just one parent and a child, you're really going to spread yourself really, really thin. And to be honest with you, my opinion of that would be the person that's going to suffer the most would be the child, because you're not going to be able to devote the time necessary to really giving that child a quality education to prepare them for the world that we're living in, and the world that's going in a really shitty direction. Is the money there? There are companies, the pay has gotten better since I started driving. Back when I started driving, the pay was like 34 cents a mile. Actually, I don't even think it was that. Now, depending on where you go, if you've got less than 2 years experience, you might make 45 cents a mile if you're lucky. And the problem there is, are they going to give you enough miles to make a decent paycheck? And then on top of that, you got car payment. Where's your car? If you got a car, or a vehicle payment and insurance. Well, now you've got to pay for that. You've got to worry about making enough to take care of that. If you've got an apartment, well, now you're paying for an apartment that you may or may not make enough of a paycheck to pay for all of that. So there are a lot of variables here that you really have to take into consideration. I just had something fly past my ear. There are a lot of things you need to take in consideration because there are a lot of variables. So it really depends on your life situations and what you've got going on as to whether this career or this choice will be beneficial to you short term, because ultimately it'll only get better. The more experience you get, it can get better. What I mean by that is, I'm not going to say there are some bright people driving trucks, because I'm going to be honest with you, there really aren't. A lot of the new people coming into the driving industry are, number one, selfish. Number two, not very bright. No common sense. Okay, they'll go down the road, drive it, playing on their phones all day long. I see it all day long. You're only going to get away with that so many times. Did I get you? Nope. Got you now. You're only going to get away with that so many times before that comes back to bite you in the butt. And when it does, you won't be driving a truck anymore. That I can promise you. They will take your license, and every company after that you apply to is going to see that you had an accident because you were on the phone. They're going to go, sorry, move on to the next. And that's going to be the theme after that. You're not going to get a job because nobody will touch you because you were playing on your phone and you had an accident. Something to think about. Where do we go from here? Let's say you get past that hurdle, or the first couple hurdles. You make it past your 2-year mark where you can spread your feet. Okay? From that point, there's several different directions this can go in. You can continue to be a company driver. You can be a lease driver, which is not a very bright idea. Or you can be an owner-operator, should you choose to commit to that. And if you do, well, now you've just bitten off you've just caught a bullet with your teeth. Let me put it that way. You've caught a bullet with your teeth. What do you do at this point? Let's say you opt to stay a company driver. Okay? Let's say you make it 2 years with no accidents. Okay? Now you can go to any company you want. Well, now that you've got 2 years, you can pick whatever company you want. Sorry about that. There's a guy backing up that apparently is not very good at his job. Anyway, that gives you some wiggle room. You can pick a company that is appealing to you for whatever reason. I hope and pray for your sake that whatever company it is that you pick, should you make it to this point, that they're going to pay you better, they're going to give you better equipment. Not that the first one didn't, or that up to this point you haven't had good equipment. Your benefits are good. Your home time is good. Because that alone is going to play a major part. The big question now is, how much time, how much of your home life do you want to, or are you willing to sacrifice? You know, being an OTR driver and a company driver, different companies are going to require different things. They may require you to be out for every week that you're out. They may give you a day and a half of home time. To be honest with you, I don't like that. I don't feel like that's a good trade-off. I mean, if you've got kids, family, friends, you can't spread yourself that thin in a day and a half and get everything done that you need to get done to take care of your business in a day and a half, because whatever company you're with is only willing to give you a day and a half for every week that you're out. So that's something to think about. If you're an owner-operator, if you choose to go that route, well, you can control your home time. You can be home for however long you want to be home. You can drive for, let's say, 3 weeks and take a week off. I'm not saying that's what you need to do. I'm saying that's an option. You can, being an owner operator, you can do that because you control your schedule. You book your freight. You set your home time, whatever the case may be. The other aspect of this is being an owner operator, you're responsible for your benefits. You're responsible for your health care insurance. You're responsible for all of that. So there's a lot of things to look at. The biggest thing being, how much of your home life are you willing to sacrifice? I've been doing this for 30 years. Being very, very honest, I have given up 2 marriages. Well, actually 1. Because of being a driver. And then the one after that, she opted to get her CDL. And once she had her CDL, she was like, see ya! She disappeared on her own and gave me an excuse as to why she didn't want to be married anymore. It is what it is. You can't. I didn't want the divorce. I begged and pleaded with her for 7 months. Please don't do this. But it is what it is. And since then, you know, like I said, A driving career is the hardest career you'll ever have on any relationship, because not every woman or every man.
Power off.
Well, thank you very much for shutting yourself off to conserve my energy. That was very nice of you. Not all of them are going to want to give up their career to ride around the country with you to keep you company because you decided you want to drive a truck. Something to think about. Anyway, I'm not going to go on and on about this, but it's something to think about. Should you have any questions, you're more than welcome to ask any questions. Leave them in the comments or whatever, and I'll try to keep an eye on them. And I am always happy to answer questions. I just, like every other OTR driver, I have a job to do, so you have to be patient, and I try to answer as many questions as I can when I can. Yeah. So my thoughts and prayers go out to you for making the thought that, or coming up with the thought that you want to drive a truck. So think long and hard about it, and that's what she said. And choose carefully, because what you choose will determine not only your mental health, possibly your physical health, because those are two other things to take in consideration, because that's something to think about. Not all people are mentally or physically designed the same, and it will play out different for everybody. So those are two other things to take in consideration. Anyway, any questions or comments? Leave them in the comments, and I'll try to keep an eye on them as much as I can. And I hope, for your sake, that you make the right choice. I'm not saying it's a bad choice. It's more work than you think. It's more mentally draining than it is physically. So that's something to think about. Anyway, y'all be good. Play safe, stay safe, and God bless. And I will see you in the next video.